but Chase is committed. Advancing Black Pathways is committed, and I'm committed to helping the Black community, get those necessary resources. So again, congratulations on your two-year anniversary. Congratulations to all the work that you've been doing in the communities, and we're looking forward to partnering with you to help close this racial wealth gap.
We just had our first session with DJ, the money coach, and it was a very informative session in which I am glad that we are participating in. It gives us an opportunity to be good stewards of our resources, the monies in which we have been working our lives for, in a sense.
So I was quite enthused about how we can retrieve money back that we had paid in on a mortgage.
And the process to get them solved as quickly as possible. So step number one, you got to figure out what's taking your time, right? A lot of people come to me with all of these issues, but you don't really know. You're like, oh, I kind of need a system. I feel like I'm overwhelmed, but you don't really know what's really taking up your time. I really suggest this is personally what I do on a regular basis. I look at what I did for the day and what should I not have been doing. Right? You can easily write this out in a journal. What are the things that you got done during the day? And then you're going to look at that and you're going to audit yourself. What are these things that you shouldn't be doing? And what are these things that you should be doing? Something that maybe you should be doing is figuring out how you're going to get into Zanzibar with us in August, right?
We want to wish you a P.O.M lifestyle. That's plenty of money and peace of mind. We want you to come join us on the beaches of the World Club.
All right, and good evening and hello world out there. Welcome to another episode of Mixed Knowledge and Notion Think Q Science Series, brought to you by DJ the Money Coach and the Seven Spheres of Money. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us for another episode. And before we get started, as always, go ahead and like the video, share it, and subscribe to DJ the Money Coach right here on YouTube, and help us spread the word and spread the gospel of the P.O.M lifestyle, plenty of money, peace of mind through all the four corners of the world. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this Friday evening show. DJ, man, how you doing? How you doing tonight on this Friday?
Man, I'm excited out here, brother. Man, today is TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. It's hot, cool in the shade, 90-something degrees where I'm at. Good thing I got good AC, yeah, air conditioning. So we're excited, man. It's a great, the month of May. They say April shower bring May flowers, and we definitely got a lot of flowers in May. So we want to give a shout out to everybody who took advantage of that Mother's Day special. We broke records again. And if you didn't get that Mother's Day special, that's okay. You can still get with the program because, as you saw, Chase is now our official corporate sponsor, and Chase is going to be side by side with us in our master classes, teaching people consumer debt freedom, how to pay off their mortgages in 5 to 7 years, how to build 800 credit scores, and how to create $8,333 a month in passive income through business, real estate, and leveraging the tax laws. So you want to get with us in that master class brought to you by Chase Bank. And Chase Bank, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know this, they are the largest bank in America, largest bank in the Western Hemisphere, and they have the sixth largest bank in the world. And they have exclusively sponsored with yours truly, DJ the Money Coach team, to teach master classes on financial literacy. And Chase Bank is going to be pouring $30 billion in resources into the Black community to help you support your small business endeavors, help you support your financial literacy, and help create transgenerational wealth through our platform. So jump on board, get into the master class. We're going to run about 6 master classes with Chase across the country. So this is amazing time for you guys to be participating in the program, and we want to get you on the pathway to, you know, the P.O.M lifestyle. That's plenty of money and peace of mind. And we want you to come join us on the Beach of the World Club. And right now, the beaches that we're celebrating on from an ownership capacity is Zanzibar. So, Nick, I ain't got nothing to be unhappy about, brother. It is a great time, and I think the title of the show tonight is important because when you go to the next level, and as you guys call it in your age group, level up, you have to expect, as a leader, you have to expect the unexpected in terms of challenges that are only, you know, opportunities in disguise, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna flip it back over to you because I don't want to go over on a long rant starting out because we got a hard 60 tonight. So I'm gonna flip it back on to you, and then we'll get the topic started.
Yep. So yeah, as DJ often says, and what inspired this topic was that DJ actually said it to us this week, you know, earlier in the week, that when you are going to the next level, that's when the adversary attacks. So I thought it would be fitting, you know, as I was, you know, brainstorming and trying to come up with something to talk about tonight, you know, that quote just rang out to me, you know, stuck out to me. So I thought it would be fitting to get into that tonight and talk about what that looks like and how to handle the adversary and how to defend yourself against those attacks, and why it's important to stay the course and not allow yourself to get distracted or discouraged when those attacks come. So starting out with the definition, an adversary can be defined as an opponent or enemy. So before I even get into what to do when those attacks come, just some things to keep in mind. Because when we think of opponents, we think of enemies, oftentimes we think of an outward, explicit enemy or person that's challenging you. You know, this might be someone who you might have a conflict with, someone who's yelling at you or cursing you out, or someone who's trying to fight you. But the adversary can come in different forms and different disguises. The adversary, the adversary can come in the form of a non-human entity. You know, for example, think about when technology fails, or we think about the concept or the idea of Murphy's Law that, you know, what could go wrong will go wrong. You know, so it doesn't always have to be a physical person that's coming at you for it to be an adversary. You know, and if you look at things holistically or look at things from a spiritual perspective, we also know that the adversary or the enemy can have a metaphysical or a spiritual, you know, origin or come from that area as well. You know, so first thing is to broaden your understanding of what an adversary can be. And the first thing that I think about when the adversary attacks, whatever that might be, is that it's okay to be human and to feel those human emotions, but don't allow yourself to stay in those emotions too long. You know, it should only be short-lived. It should only be temporary. So when we face challenges, when we face the enemy or enemies plural, you know, it's understandable for us to become angry or become upset or to become sad. And it's perfectly fine to acknowledge those emotions, but you don't want to stay in those emotions, because when you're reacting emotionally, you're not thinking logically, and you make decisions. You make a temporary decision that can have a permanent or long-lasting consequence that you don't want. So only allow those emotional reactions to be temporary, and don't make decisions based on those emotional reactions when you face those challenges. So that's the first piece that I want to start out with. I have some other ones that I'll hit on, but I don't want to go too long. I want to let DJ jump in and kind of chime in before I go into the others. Going to how to respond, how to defend yourself against those attacks, and why it's important to get yourself back on track and keep moving forward towards your goals. So DJ, I'll let you go ahead and chime in there.
Yeah, so you make some great points. So let me share this with you, ladies and gentlemen. If the adversary is not coming at you in physical, inanimate objects or whatever, guess what? He already got you. I'm already saying that. He already got you. This is also like when you have somebody tell you what you need to hear, but you don't want to hear it, and it pains you, and you get upset at the messenger, but that's really what your problem is. So when you're making the ascension to the next level or you're leveling up, you should automatically expect that something that's going to be drastic, maybe devastating, maybe upsetting is about to happen, because you have made a pivot to move away from the adversary grip on you and your family. So the first thing is you should have a supporting team that can let you know of what to expect. And so as I was sharing with our team, what Nick was talking about, since I've been through this many a times, and we are ascending to another level, it's not a level that I haven't been to. We're just going back again. So I automatically expected something out of the ordinary to happen that will be unexpected. So I was not surprised, but I was prepared because I got the team prepared. But we're always disappointed, but we also got to count it as a blessing, because again, if the adversary is coming at you, he ain't got a grip on you. You got to understand that. So it's actually a compliment. You might say that's kind of odd to think about that way, but let's just think about it. If you already have lost, then there's no reason for them to pursue you, because you already checked off. You're in the bag. But if you haven't lost and you are ascending to the next level and you are disproving the false or the misinformation that's an abundancy, then they got to put a clamp on you. So they come at you with the stuff that they know specifically will pain you. And if you are not emotionally mature enough to handle it, you will be derailed. Okay? And if it's something major, that it is legendary or it's generational to give you a pivot in the right direction, it's going to be even harder. It's going to be tougher. And again, it could be something as simple as your car broke down. So we had one of our partners that actually happened to this week. And shout out to our brother, and prayed up, stayed up. And what I shared with him, I said, hey man, the adversary knows that you about to make that leap to the next level. And also, here's the thing. They know that not only you're making the level up in ascension, but you're going to bring a whole bunch of other people with you. So they're not really concerned, Nick, about you leveling up. They're concerned about the message that other people are going to hear and start following you, and then they're going to level up. Did y'all hear what I said? They're not concerned about you and me, Nick, because we represent one. But what they are concerned is that we as one may represent 1,000, 100,000, 1,000,000 people. You see what I'm saying? So, there's this guy in BK1 named Jesus Christ, and he sponsored 12, and they sponsored 6 billion or 3 billion. You see what I'm saying? Then there's this guy named Allah, and he sponsored a few, and they turned out sponsoring 1 billion. So that adversary, in whatever shape, size, form, tangible or intangible, knows that you are anointed or you have been given the gift of inspiration that you could actually change the narrative for a lot of lives. So they already know you won, but they worried about those who you will impact to change their narrative. And how to make that relative is that there's two things that people hold dearly to their heart that they don't discuss with anybody relatively. It's their money and their God. So if we can help you change the narrative financially, that's going to open you up to see God really for what God is and the righteousness of God, not the negativeness of God. Okay? Or conversely, if you have received God and you've been struggling financially, then you're going to start getting the benefits because your faith is going to grow. And then you're going to start getting the financial windfall that God has in store for your family for generations to come. So when you are starting to make that ascension and you know you are on the right pathway and you're going up, you have to expect your car may break down. The furnace may go out. You may have somebody that gets sick in your family. And if you react the way the adversary wants you to react, you're going to go backwards versus going forward and counting the blessing. Okay? And so all the adversary does, Nick, is that it shows you the same video to keep you trapped in the mire, in the abyss. And if you can't figure out that that video is just a loop, he got you. So when you're on task, you're trying to get your PhD, you're trying to get into the college of your choice, you're trying to get that loan, and it's harder and harder. First thing you got to do is say, you know what? The reason why it's hard because I'm actually on the right pathway and I am being, molded for the impact that can have. And I can't allow the adversary in whatever shape, size, form, image, tangible, intangible, inanimate object it comes, but I'm ready for it. The second thing is you have to immediately seek some counsel from people who have already gone through it. And they can tell you what to expect. So you don't have a reactionary, action to it versus already being proactive by having a defense strategy in place. And then you have to have the humility to accept that wisdom from those counsels, those mentors. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're being blessed on our platform because we're actually impacting thousands of people. And it's starting one person at a time. And how does it start? It starts from we basically gave away what we get a tremendous amount of revenue for so that everybody can have access to it. And the adversary don't like that. Because now, wow, I can get with Nick Westbrooks, who's managing en route to a 7-figure business on the platform, and he can give me some counseling because I took advantage of the Mother Day special. Or I took advantage of the 2x2 for 2 on Ericka's platform. And I may not have been able to afford it 60 days ago, but for a 20 spot, I was able to get on that platform and have a sincere discussion with Melvin Hobson about my, real estate. I mean, not my real estate, but my securities. Because right now, what's happening in the market, everybody I talk to, man, my portfolio's down 20, 30%, DJ. Guess what? That's happened before. You know when that last happened? It happened in 2008, 2009. But guess what? We came back from it. It happened again around about 2015. We came back from it. Ladies and gentlemen, unless you're actually literally retiring tomorrow within the 6-12 month period of time, no need for you to start prematurely selling and panicking. You just need to get some advice and get some perspective. And what you should be doing is saying, thank you, Mr. Putin, because the real good value stocks and the real good value I bonds, zero coupon bonds, and them dividends that now came down to the price I can afford, let me go ahead and snatch me some of those up. Now, your Google might be down, your Netflix might be down, your Amazon might be down, but again, did you read their annual report? Are they making money? Because if they're making money, they are still very profitable, and again, they're on sale. So your portfolio is just taking a momentary paper loss and it's a sale on Sunday in the grocery store coupons, and go grab you some more. So that's how you prepare for that. And then if you have the wherewithal to have got access to STEAM, which is science, technology, entrepreneurship, access to mentorship, you would have started building true entrepreneurship with the proper entity structure. So again, what is this? We're preparing for it. So the blow is actually soft and less harmful because you had a plan and a team to hedge the risk. So since we've seen this video many times, no matter how hard it comes at us, we know it is momentary. And then after you make it through that little test, you're going to get more blessings than you can ever count, pressed over 1,000 times. So in essence, what I'm telling you, if you're not getting touched, barred, pushed back, and you've been doing a lot of things that you think are doing extremely well for a while, you still are under the spell of the adversary. Because only till you're doing something legendary that can be impactful for multi-generations does the adversary really come at you, because he already got you, if that makes sense. So what we generally do is when we see ourselves about to accomplish a major, accomplishment or feat, we sit down and we talk about it as a team, and we give insights and say, hey, get ready for this. Get ready for that. We don't know how it's coming, but it's coming. And when it comes, first thing you should do is to pick up the phone, your what they used to call it on that show, your lifeline. Pick up that phone. Unless your house is burning down and you're burning down, you're in a fire, pick up that phone. Hey, whoever that person is who is counseling you, give them a call, him or her. Hey, I'm having the adversary come at me. It's a blessing. How shall I handle this? And let him or her give you some wisdom, and then you will be able to navigate through it. And before you know it, the adversary test will have been passed, and then you will start getting to the next level. And it's like this, ladies and gentlemen. The best thing I can share with you is the metamorphosis of a caterpillar to a butterfly. So it has to go through a disruptive full transformation in order for it to go into a beautiful monarch butterfly. And that's all that is, ladies and gentlemen. And even if, someone in your family, God forbid, passes on and goes home, it's still a test. You know what I'm saying? And if it doesn't happen in that capacity, just look at it, count the blessings, counsel with the proper person, and you will pass the test and you will ascend to the next level, because it's not about you. It's not about me. It's about the impact that you have. That's really what it's about. If you understand that, you'll get more perspective, and you'll actually handle it better, because it's not about you personally, because you already have won. It's about the people you're impacting. It's about them children that Nick teaches at the high school. It's about the people at, the scholarships that we give away during our program. It's about the disabled, military people, disabled civilians that we're impacting. We know that we're winning, and we're going to help show them victorious solutions, and that adversarial relationship is diminishing in their house. It's real leadership at the end of the day. That's what it's about. So I'm going to flip it back over to Nick, and then Nick's going to share some things with you, and then we'll come right back, because this is a blessing anytime the adversary comes your way, because he is trying to stop the multi-generational impact that you have. And I'll put an even more positive spin on it. So even when we're looking at big institutions, they may not see us as an individual. When we're able to take down and build a relationship and just show them a better way to relate in our community, that's a win for us. So the win for our organization and for our members and for our members' children and their children's children is that we have partnered with Chase Bank so the Chase Bank can pour those resources into our community the effective way that our people need those resources to be in the community. And that's not just getting bank accounts, that's also getting education on financial literacy, getting better mortgage scenarios, learning how to get business credit, learning how to build relationships at your local Chase institution, and then most importantly, Nick, having a liaison to bridge the misinformation or the miscommunication on how to actually build the relationship in the 4 Ps. So guess what? We're the glue. You're on the other side of the moat, and they are, and we bring you all together, and it's a win-win-win, ladies and gentlemen. So, like they say, April showers bring May flowers, and that's what we're experiencing right now. But we had to have a little bit of the adversary, or what I call, opportunities in disguise, so that we can get the real prize. Back to you, Nick.
Right. Yes, absolutely. And when you speak about the adversary, the attacks from the adversary, or those opportunities actually being blessings, excuse me, everybody. So when DJ talks about the adversary attacks actually being blessings, another piece to add on to that, sometimes some of you might have heard the phrase or the saying, there's a lesson in the blessing, or there's a blessing in the lesson. So along with embracing the blessing and appreciating the blessing, you are also looking for the lesson in there, especially if the video, you either don't remember the video or the video is unfamiliar to you. So some of us might go through some challenges that might feel new to us. We might have been through similar experiences, but we might be faced with something that's unique. So along with looking for that blessing, we're also looking for, what is this experience or this opportunity trying to teach me that I can take away and apply the next time, an attack comes, from the adversary, because the attacks don't stop. They're always going to come. So yeah, what is this trying to teach me?
Let me chime in, interject right there, because that's a very powerful point you just made, Nick. Here's what I want to add to it. If you keep getting the same attacks, you haven't paid attention to the blessing
and then get the lesson,
or garner the lesson. So you know what's going to happen? He's going to keep sending it at you until you humble yourself. And how do I know? I give you 3 guesses, the first 2 don't count. Because I used to be a knucklehead. And I kept getting the same adversarial experience, and I just stopped listening. And it compounded itself. And you know how it compounded itself, Nick? It compounded itself when I got my car repoed. Because I knew that I shouldn't have been partying while I was behind on my bills, but I still needed to party and show my friends that I still was the man. Instead of paying my bills that I was behind on, I'm out here trying to be a fugazi and a fraud, just to impress somebody that really don't care about, that really don't like me, and I get my car repoed. It's simple stuff like that. So once I understood that I didn't get the lesson and I was ignoring the blessing, again, I raised up and I asked for some help. So that's very important, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching this right now and you're having a repeat like Groundhog's Day, you need to assess, just like Job, and reach up and take the humility pill, or what you people call in y'all generation, you got red pill. But no, you didn't get red pilled. You actually were being, what is the word? You were being insubordinate, and you were being a hardhead. That's it. Real talk. So what you have to have the ability to do to get that lesson and get the blessing, you have to humble yourself and allow somebody to give you the wisdom. And here's the funny thing, Nick. A lot of times people think it comes from the older person, but no, it doesn't. You can get a younger person to give you that knowledge and that wisdom because they have matured faster than you have. And I'm speaking to people in my age group right now who don't want to change their ways. And one of them change their ways is just embracing the fact that the currency in the world is being decentralized through crypto. Back to you, Nick.
Yes, yes. And you know, one more thing before I take us to the break. Going back to what you said about the impact and how, and the examples of, you know, Jesus and Allah sponsoring that multitude, and how in our vocation, in our work, how we're helping thousands of people. The adversary also understands that there is power in numbers. So we are more powerful when we're able to unite with the masses and move the masses and leave a lasting impact on the masses that spreads from generation to generation. The adversary knows that that is the ultimate power, you know, that can't be overcome. You know, so when you go in with that mindset, you know, it puts everything into perspective. So we'll go ahead and go to the break, and when we come back, you know, we'll wrap this topic up and then shift gears to talk about, you know, what we're excited for, and one of these opportunities that we have to make a legacy impact, you know, for our families and for your families as well. So we'll be right back on Nick's Knowledge and Notions. Stay tuned.
Everybody, it's DJ Money Coach coming to you live. That's right, baby. And Kinder Fox Beach and Zanzibar, living that P.O.M lifestyle. Any money, peace of mind. Come join us on the beaches of the World Club. Because you know what? I am my ancestor, and you are too. You deserve it. Get with me, baby. Tell them that beautiful person out there. All right, so you know what you got to do. 4 dirty little words. Number 1, discipline. Number 2, accountability. Number 3, plug into the 7 spheres of money system. And number 4, put your head down, go to work in 3 to 6 years. You can be completely consumer debt free, pay off your house in 5 to 7 years, and have a 6-figure income by business, real estate, leveraging the tax laws. But first things first, you got to hit that link, come to the masterclass, and get freedom right now today. Peace. I am DJ the Money Coach. Do us a favor, share, like, and subscribe, and help us help you have a P.O.M lifestyle. That's plenty of money, peace of mind. Come join us on the Beaches of the World Club. Remember, share, like, subscribe.
All right, and welcome back. Welcome back to Nick's Knowledge and Notions NQ Science Series. And tonight we were talking about how to defend yourself against the adversary when the adversary attacks, especially when you're going to the next level. And we talked about some methods of defending yourself. And I think a good way to wrap this up is to talk about why you should defend yourself, and why you should stay the course and not allow allow those emotions to seep in too deeply and, leading to discouragement and distraction. Because when the like DJ and I said, when the adversary attacks, it's usually when you're pursuing that major goal that's going to have that impact, especially if it's going to impact the masses and impact your legacy and the generations that follow. And often those adversarial attacks are targeted towards leaders. So as a leader, you're leading the charge. You have people that are working alongside you. So it's especially important that you stay the course, because those folks that you are leading, they are depending on you, to lead them in the right direction. And I at the beginning of the show, I also mentioned, the importance of well, actually, I didn't elaborate on it, but DJ mentioned calling that advisor, whoever that advisor or that mentor is, that's a part of stepping away, momentarily, to decompress and to not react emotionally, because especially as men, real men, our role is to provide, protect, and as leaders, those who are leading us, they are, if we make hasty decisions that can have negative consequences or impacts, that could put those who were leading or protecting or providing for in precarious situations, whether that's emotionally, financially, or physically. So that's why it's important to stay the course, when you're in the midst of those attacks and those challenges. So DJ, why is it important for us to stay the course, even if it's very hard, even if these challenges, seem like, they I won't say they seem impossible, but I'll just say they just seem hard, hard to get through. Why is it important to, keep our head down and continue on the course?
Well, first and foremost, they made the word you're probably looking for insurmountable. It may
Insurmountable.
appear to be insurmountable. So
There we go.
why is it important? Well, just look back at your lineage and your history of your current fathers, grandfathers, and grandfathers, or your grandmothers and your grandmothers' grandmothers. If you keep doing what they did and it hasn't produced the success or the legacy that you want, if you don't stay the course, you're just going to keep getting that. That's first and foremost. So if you don't know how to change the pathology of your lineage, then the only way to change it is to stay the course. Here's another thing that you have to do. You have to change your crowd, your crew. So I talk about this all the time, okay? I tell you guys, ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, I don't care if you're 99 or if you're 9 years of age, you could be a 99-year-old fool and you could be a 9-year-old wise person. I'm gonna say it again. You could be a 99-year-old fool or you could be a 9-year-old wise person. So age is not the operative, common denominator. It's the fact that you just didn't get it. So here's how you get it. First, there's 3 areas of your life that you should be on guard about. Number 1, you should be on guard about your spiritual life, your godship. Who are you following in a godship? Not the personality, but you should be emulating the principles of a successful godship house. That's number 1. So I don't take advice, Nick, from anybody who's not emulating the desires that I want for my children and my children's children if I came from a broken family that was out of alignment with godship, because it's God, family, business, and then everything else. Okay? I'm going to say that again. It's God, family, business, and everything else. So if you're spending your time on social media, just being socializing and living vicariously through other people's experiences or gossiping, you got the wrong group. You know, first thing I tell people, don't text me silly stuff. Don't tell me about somebody blah, 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 blah. I don't care if they got a bajillion followers. I'm not interested. Don't waste my time. And they might think that's rude, but I'm focused because you know why, Nick? I got 4 children to be concerned about. And see, here's what's going to happen. Your children, your peers, the people that follow you, they're going to do what you do, not what you say. Y'all know this. This is an old adage. They will do what you do, not what you say. So that's the first thing. So I have my godship in order. The second thing, I have my leadership in order. So I follow, ladies and gentlemen, a person has fruit on the tree that have produced leaders that have produced leaders who have produced leaders. And from a sports perspective, you always see this in football and basketball, and they say, hey, what does his tree look like? They're talking about the coach that's won a lot, and they say, well, if he's really successful, he should have coached up other successful coaches. But if he's not, and only he's the one reaping the championships, and people have coached with him for 10, 20 years, and they go get a job and they fail miserably, he's not really a leader. He's just a winner that knows how to get championship personally, but he's not a leader of men because they should be out and doing better or on par with what he's done. Okay? So that's the second thing. So again, godship through emulation of principles that God ordained, then leadership through principles that you see. And I always tell people, one of the forthright leaders, you know what? Dr. Tony Evans, amazing leader. Look him up. He's got a great track record. Dr. Tony Evans. And then another leader, you know, John C. Maxwell. These are leaders. You know why? Because they've impacted organizations over decades, ladies and gentlemen, 4 decades plus, and they got massive fruit on the tree. So if you don't have anybody in your network that is a leader, pick up a book by one of these gentlemen, get on one of their podcasts, start taking copious notes. I'll give you 3 guesses first who don't count, Nick. Guess what? I didn't have leadership in my family, the right one I needed at the time, and I started reading about Dr. Tony Evans. I start reading about John C. Maxwell. I start seeing the principles, and I start seeing the fruit on their tree, and I said, well, you know what? What I got right now ain't working. If I try this over here, what's the worst that can happen? I'll still have what I got anyway, but what if it does work and it changes the narrative and the pathology for my children and my children's children? So I chose to get out of my comfort zone. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I found business leaders. And how do I do that? I start reading autobiographies of the most successful businessmen on the planet. And the number one for me was Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun by Reginald F. Lewis. Because like anybody, I want to see somebody that looks like me that has success or broken through a ceiling that is perceived to not be breakable by us. And I saw through Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun a man that looked like me, a man that talked like me, that had the boldness like me. And I read and I absorbed the information from his book, and I started emulating those characteristics, and I started attracting to me the right people. So now I had to play baseball, football, and basketball from a team perspective. This is what a lot of people don't do, because everybody wants to be the one unicorn, supernova. That is a fallacy, ladies and gentlemen. And I was guilty of that myself. That's exactly what the adversary wants you to do. You are the superstar that's not duplicatable, and you're the special one. If you get on that box, you have lost. You won personally, but everybody behind you has lost. Because if it can't be duplicated, easy come, easy go. Okay? So now you put your team together. And the first team is a defensive team. What does that look like? On a godship factor, that looks like Bible study. That looks like going to the mosque, going to temple, being around men and women who can share with you wisdom of experiences that you will come in contact with by living your life. Does that make sense? So now, on the leadership perspective, you get around men who are leaders and they can see potential leadership in you, or women that can see potential leadership in you, and they can tell you, look, you got talent, you got skills, but you know what? You're with the wrong crowd. So if I'm you, sister, or if I'm you, brother, I'm going to remove myself from that crew that I hang out with. And here's the problem. You've been around them your whole life and you feel guilt because they put guilt on you. But if they're not adding value to the situation, they are a leech. They are a parasite. And you got to put on your big boy drawers or your big girl underwear and remove yourself. Okay? So now that you've done that, you got to start looking for people to make you a little bit uncomfortable, to make some change for the better in your life. And then from a business perspective, now you got to find business systems and business teams. And then you got to have the ability to be humble, to gather the lesson so that you can one day be on the stage when the time is right. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm learning from my own personal perspective, because sometimes God will give you a lot of talent and a lot of gifts, and you don't know how to handle them, and you want to be in the spotlight before you actually are mature enough to handle everything. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? So now you can put that all together, and you can have yourself an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, and a special teams. And how does that look like in what we do from a financial literacy aspect? Real simple. Your offensive coordinator, you know what that is? That's the business person that can tell you about opportunities to grow, be it crypto, be it digital assets, be it mobile homes, be it Zanzibar. That's the offensive coordinator, can see all the stuff that can give you all the shiny prestige that you want, right? Then you have the defensive coordinator. That's the person actually going to help you win the championships. That's your CPA. That's your estate advisor. That's your registered investment advisor. That's your legal advisor. They're going to tell you what you should be doing to protect where you are, but most importantly, when you level up, they're going to tell you what's at the next level, so they'll put a defensive strategy together to protect you. Then you're going to have the special teams. That's the most important part. But they all are interdependent, connected. But the special teams is that person, like a business coach, that can actually tell you, hey, here's the way things look from a visionary standpoint, that can give you insight that you can't see, but they've already done it. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? So now you got your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator, and your special teams, and they all clicking on the same thing. And then they're all telling you, hey, you know what? There's going to be a rush, a blitz. There's going to be a boxing one. They're going to walk you. Be prepared for it. Be cool. And it's an old analogy in a movie that came out way back in the day, about 30 years ago, called Colors. And at the end of the movie, the guy tells the young cop, he said, you know what? Let me tell you a little story. There was a baby bull and a papa bull. And in the whole, pasture, there was a whole bunch of cows, heifers, which are female cows, I believe. And the baby bull was like, man, let's run down and knock down some of them. And the papa bull said, hey, how about we just stroll down and get them all? So now the adversary cannot impact you the way the adversary has. And here's all you have to do to change 3 generations. It only takes one leader to spread the gospel, but most importantly, it takes one leader to live the life of sacrifice and pour into that one family, and that one family can impact multiple generations. So here's what I leave with you. If you want to make impact on society and you want to line up and have a great defense against the adversary, the first people you should make impact on is in your own house. Stop trying to go out here and be a superstar amongst other people when in your own house, that's where the most important impact is mattering. That's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why the adversary through social media and attention deficit disorder, oh, how many likes I got? Oh, how many stars I got? How many, you know what you should be thinking? Man, did I have a great example for my father, my mother? Was I a great example for my spouse, my significant other? Was I a great example for my children and my children's children today? Even though it may not look like I'm doing a lot, but was I just a person of character? Example, you have somebody to overpay you for a service and they didn't know it, and you just give them their money back. A little quiet gesture like that. But if your child is beside you and your child saw that, it's going to be most likely your child will replicate that. I'm going to say that again. Or you went to the store and they gave you too much money back and you knew it. Instead of walking out the door, oh yeah, I got over. Oh, excuse me, sir. You paid me too much and change. Or there's a person who tire blows out on expressway, and instead you just rolling by, you just put your hazard signals on and you call AAA, or you help them change the tire. And with your child with that has impact. Or in this, social misinformation and chaos, somebody approaches you and are biased towards you. Instead of naturally fighting them, maybe just give them grace and walk away. And now your child is seeing that, and your child will do the same thing. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. But you know what? If you practice it over and over, it gets easier. And then the last thing, Nick, only way you're going to level up is you got to be uncomfortable, and you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable to stretch yourself. But if you don't have STEAM, science, technology, entrepreneurship, access, and mentorship, it's going to be hard for you to do that. Because you got to better reach up and have somebody give you some blessings. I don't make any decisions, Nick, and you guys know this, without consulting with people in my inner circle. I may make decisions fast because I've been doing the research, but I pick up the phone and I'll shout out, hey, Johnny. Hey, Eric. Hey, Dr. Hollowell. Hey, Kadera. Hey, Nick, what do y'all think about this? I'll make the final decision, but before I jump, I get some counsel, even if it's only 5 seconds. But then I take responsibility for my decision. So it's harder for the adversary to have the effect on me because I've been building this tough skin around great principles. I'm not perfect. I am flawed. But since I built up this system, I'm less harmed by the adversary because I've already prepared and expect the arrival of the adversary. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? And again, don't allow yourself to think that your age is wiser than somebody younger than you when they could be the blessing right in front of you. And I'm going to give you one little story. I'm turning back over Nick and we're getting out of here. So there was a guy. And God told him in a dream, I'm going to save you, Nick. And God said, I'm going to physically save you, Nick. And Nick said, yeah, man, God gave me the blessing. So all of a sudden, there was an announcement in a small town, kind of like Hurricane Katrina back in 2006. And they told you it's going to be a massive flood and a massive hurricane coming through that corridor. So the announcement said, everybody evacuate. Everybody started evacuating. Nick said, God told me he was going to save me first. Now, the adversary is what? It's the storm. It's the evacuation. It's life-threatening. Tear up all the houses, right? So Nick stays home, and some other people stay home. And so the waters start coming in through the small town. Nick's sitting on the porch, and there's a boat come through. Hey, Nick, hop on in, brother. We got you. Nick says, God told me personally, from his lips to my ears, he was going to save me physically, personally. So Nick's thinking he's going to see God come out of the sky and raise him up. The boat goes through, guys. The water goes up over the roofs. Y'all remember those scenes in Hurricane Katrina, people on their roofs with the help signs and everything? So all of a sudden, that helicopter comes across with the safety, line. And they pulling everybody up. Them 10, 20 different people left that were not wise enough to get out on the boat or just missed it. Nick says, hey, man, God says he's going to save me. And they're like, dude, you got to come on. The water's up to Nick's throat. Nick passes on the helicopter. We fast forward to the next day. Nick's still thinking, but he said, man, I'm at the pearly gates. What happened? So Michael says, Nick, man, we told you 3-4 times that we were saving your life. He said, what are you talking about? Well, Nick, we made the announcement that the storm was coming. That was the Adversary 1. You should have started evacuating, Nick. Then the flood came through the city and we sent the boat. You didn't get in the boat, Nick. Then the flood took over all the houses and we had a helicopter came across, Nick or Nicole, and you didn't take the lifeline, and that's why you're here. But God gave you grace and you're in heaven. But the moral of the story is, when God tells you he's going to save you, you got to keep your antennas up, because it's not always going to be a lightning bolt from the sky or a hand. It could be something as subtle as, hey, Nick, step to the left, hop in the boat, and you going up to safety.
Man, powerful. That's a drop the mic right there, and to close out, man, a couple of things, that stood out to me. One is the importance of learning from others, whether directly or indirectly. DJ mentioned some individuals that he knows in his personal life, also those that he never met personally, but he was able to still learn from those individuals, just by reading about their lives and reading about how they overcame attacks from the adversary. And also the importance of surrounding yourself around the right people, because who you surround yourself with can determine whether you're going up, you're going down, you're growing, or you're self-destructing. So that's gave you overflowed your cup with how to overcome the attacks from the adversaries and why you should stay the course. So we're going to go ahead and close out. We ran out of time, so next time around, we will tell you about the opportunity that you should take part in.
Oh no, we always got time for that, Nick. No, because that means we'll be letting the adversary win. So here's what we're gonna do. Real quick, go ahead.
Let's go to the break, and then we'll come back.
To the break, and we're gonna tell them how we can help them out, and we're gonna celebrate the people who actually have taken advantage of the specials as well. So we'll be right back after this break, and we'll wrap this up, guys.
Right.
My name is Tajir. I'm a young professional from New York. I just want to give a big shout out to DJ, the money coach. I had a consultation call with him and it was amazing. I learned about so many things, from insurance to buying real estate and getting leverage on transactions, to tax loopholes, tax pitfalls, 401ks, IRAs, much, much, much more. If you're on the verge, if you want to advance your financial future and you're not sure what you do or where to go, I definitely recommend seeing DJ, the money coach.
Hello, my name is Crystal Jones, and I'm in the healthcare field. I would like to take the opportunity to thank Ericka Williams and DJ the Money Coach, along with his team, for providing valuable gems to help me get on a successful financial path. And yes, I am ready for that P.O.M lifestyle. Have a good day.
So I just got off my consultation with DJ the Money Coach. The reason I decided to get up with DJ was because I saw him on a couple different platforms, and he seemed like he really knew what he was talking about, and some of the things he said resonated with me. And that was confirmed once I got on the phone with him. And about 45 minutes, he gave me enough gems, enough game to probably save me thousands and thousands of dollars, because I was leaving so much money on the table from tax advantages, business structure, so on and so forth. So if you're looking for somebody that has experience, if you're looking for somebody that actually can do what they say they can do, I would advise you to rock out with DJ the Money Coach. DJ, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for everything.
Little organic tequila is so crisp, so incredibly smooth. It's simply in a category by itself. This is luxury. Life tastes better naturally, so should your tequila. This is Toledo. Enjoy responsibly. Visit ToledoTequila.com to get your bottle of Toledo Organic Tequila. Get a 10% discount on DJ the Money Coach by entering promo code MONEY at checkout. Again, that's ToledoTequila.com, promo code MONEY to get 10% off your Toledo purchase. Start the show. And welcome back to Nick's Knowledge and Notions. As we're closing out, we would be remiss if we did not share with the people, those who may not have heard about our legacy project that you all can participate in and join us in. You know, we did mention that our beach this time around on this tour, you know, next stop on the tour is Zanzibar. So we do have an opportunity to not only live the pom-pom lifestyle, but to be involved in some equity and ownership. You know, so we want to share that information with the folks before we get out of here.
Absolutely. So what we want to do, to close out, we want to give a shout out to people who made a wise decision that will actually give them the hedge and the protection from your adversary. Okay. And this is a shout out to people who took advantage of the 2x2 for 20, took advantage of the 2x2 for 30 on the Mother's Day special, because you understood that this was a great value to create legacy maneuvers in your family. So I want to give a shout out to Joy, give a shout out to Felicia, give a shout out to Jalen, give a shout out to Sean, give a shout out to Jensen, give a shout out to Chastity, give a shout out to Tia, give a shout out to David, give a shout out to Benjamin, give a shout out to Kimberly, give a shout out to Alicia, give a shout out to Risha Nay, give a shout out to Marcus, give a shout out to Ericka, Nadine, Witana, Jamie. We'll give you a couple of more, because these are the people making great decisions for their families, okay? So we also want to give a shout out to Emily, give a shout out to Floyd, give a shout out to Renee, to the Van Slyke family, give a shout out to Leon, give a shout out to Sean, shout out to Michael Dwayne, give a shout out to Isotalk, give a shout out to Chris, James, give a shout out to Eileen, give a shout out to Curtacia, give a shout out to Tiffany and Janice and Tim from the Dance family, give a shout out to Jasmine, give a shout out to George, give a shout out to Natalie. I mean, these are people just in the past week, ladies and gentlemen, that took advantage of these amazing specials, okay? And give a shout out to Chantel, give a shout out to Vernisa, give a shout out to Tiffany, give a shout out to Lizzie, give a shout out to Cornita, give a shout out to Jeffrey, give a shout out to Stephanie, give a shout out to Terrell, and give a shout out to Portrait, and give a shout out to Tasha. And we just wanted just to name a few of those. If I didn't read your name, it's not intentionally. Time is short. And then we want to show you what they actually took advantage of that you can take advantage of, okay? So in our master class that's sponsored by Chase Bank, which will be providing their resources to you across the country, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to teach you how to develop first an 800 credit score, okay? Second, we're going to teach you how to become consumer debt free. That's right. Pay off all your debt, including your home, in 5 to 7 years on a 15, and a 30-year loan. We're going to teach you how to pay that off in 10 years. All right. And then we're going to show you how to build businesses the right way through systems. That's correct. Through systems called the 7 spheres of money, where you can actually work with real CPAs. Because see, here's the thing that's coming up short in our community is that we're working with people who are not licensed professionals. Okay? And when you work with people who are licensed, unlicensed professionals, there's no accountability, ladies and gentlemen. You have to have accountability. Okay? And when you have accountability, guess what? There's recourse for negative actions. All right? So we're also going to show you 2 master classes. That's right. These are master classes, ladies and gentlemen, that actually give you training that we are training at the Montgomery Regional Airport in Alabama, the state of Illinois Attorney General's office, young prosecutors, predatory lending for the state of Michigan. Do you understand, ladies and gentlemen? This is a business that's been in place since June 2002. We're going to be celebrating our 20th year anniversary at the Randsburg International in the 7 spheres of money. And we just celebrated our 2nd year on these platforms. And at the end of the day, I'm going to teach you how to leverage business, real estate, and the tax laws by setting up the proper corporate entity, ladies and gentlemen. It's not always an LLC. There are 8 different entities recognized by the IRS. And depending on what you're doing, it depends on which entity you should line up with. Okay? And then last thing but not less, I'm going to show you with our team of licensed professionals who service Fortune 500 companies. Here's a litmus test for you. If they're really that great as your current superstar or personality, what corporate contract do you have with corporate America? What license do you hold that you can be held accountable if you do wrong service to me? See, it's easy on these social media platforms to not have accountability because there's no licensing required. There's no regulatory bodies that actually hold them accountable. You understand what I'm saying? So we're licensed professionals, 20 years. And we're going to help you at the end of the day achieve $8,333 a month in passive income through the 3 steps to success. We're going to teach you how to build business the right way, take the revenue from that business, acquire real estate. And that real estate can be mobile homes, residential property, multi-units, or it could be a legacy play like a resort in Zanzibar. That's right. We're buying a whole resort, ladies and gentlemen. Think about this. When you're watching this in a replay, there's 4 destinations that Americans and middle-class people across the world plan their calendars around just to have an experience to say that they made it in life. Family with kids, where do they go? They go to Disney World. When was Disney World created? 70 years ago. Until we die, people are going to take their kids to Disney World in the summertime, in Christmas holidays, or birthdays. Ain't never going to stop. Guess what? When Walt Disney had that vision to create this experience, that created multi-billion dollars for the Disney family. Second destination, where do we go on spring break? You know where we go. We go to Cabo. We go to Cancun. We go to Destin, Florida. We go somewhere by a beach because most of us live in cold weather environments during spring break. And guess what? Those visionaries, ladies and gentlemen, that invested and created resorts around festivals or seasonal holidays that everybody's been indoctrinated to go to, they make billions of dollars. The third destination we go to is Vegas. We go to Vegas for New Year's. We go to Vegas for the fights. We go to Vegas as the girls' trip, the guys' trip. Guess what? Vegas ain't going out of business, ladies and gentlemen. And Vegas, even in a down market outside of the pandemic, they make hundreds of billions of dollars. And then the last one, ever heard of a little event called Mardi Gras? Round about Easter, Ash Wednesday, billions of dollars of commerce. So we're going to create a legacy play, and we have purchased, and we're building from the ground up in one of the top 2 destinations in the world. out of the top 20 destinations in the whole wide world, 2 of them reside in Zanzibar. And if you don't know where Zanzibar is, it is in Tanzania on the Indian Ocean, and it got 10 months out of the year of beautiful weather right by the equator, and they ain't never had a tsunami, never had a monsoon. So it is the ideal situation. And now here's the trigger. Remember I said it's got to be a festival or event that everybody go to? Just look up kite season, K-I-T-E. These wind kites on surfboards 6 months out of the year. Everybody in the top 1% from the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Europe, they come to Zanzibar. And it's jam-packed. And guess what? Yours truly, DJ the Money Coach team, we are building a luxury resort where every year, for 6 months out of the year, people are going to jump down and come fill up this beautiful resort and have a lifetime experience to share with you on their bucket list. And you have an opportunity to participate with us in this project. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. Come to the masterclass. Get the consultation for the licensed professionals. And then ask yourself, are you better served if you made this decision to get away from the adversary? And if you did not, I challenge you with this. If you spent some money on any form of entertainment, be it Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, you started to get out and go to the movies and everything, you dropped a couple of bucks, $200-$300, you had an experience, did you change your family's paradigm and their pedology financially? If not, you need to invest in the masterclass. I'm DJ the Money Coach. You've been watching Nick's Knowledge and Notions. And we wish you a P.O.M lifestyle. That's what? Plenty of money, peace of mind, and come join us on the Beaches of the World Club in Zanzibar. Hit that link. And if we're good enough for Chase Bank, we might just be good enough for you.
There you have it, folks. We will see you on the next episode. Take care and have a good night.
Hi, I'm DJ the Money Coach, and I want to thank you for taking that journey to financial freedom, to the P.O.M lifestyle. In the masterclass, we're going to teach you how to create that 800 credit score. We're going to teach you how to become consumer debt free, pay off your home in 5 to 7 years. And most importantly, we're going to teach you how to generate $8,333 a month in passive income. And all you have to do is register, and I'm personally inviting you to the next masterclass. Come join me on the Beaches of the World Club. That's plenty of money and peace of mind. I'll see you in the next masterclass.
I would highly recommend DJ the Money Coach's program because it gives you a 14-page comprehensive financial education plan. And not only does this plan cover your debt analysis, they give you insight into your debt freedom, what you need to do to get debt free, as well as what you need to do in order to retire and how much you will have when you retire.
As I was reading this, I was expecting something a little different. I thought it was going to be all nuts and bolts. Because that's the kind of guy Dale is. Dale is all about the numbers, the numbers, the numbers. Well, this book turned out to be both a little bit of nuts and bolts, but a lot of motivation. So if you're someone that's on the fence, looking to get started, just trying to figure out how to do something or what to do, get motivated to get off that couch, I recommend you pick up this book. It's going to get you to move.
He explained to me how to get rid of my student loans, my old student loan that I thought was just insurmountable. He helped me with strategies to reduce my expenses that don't make me feel like I'm sacrificing anything. And it's not the same information that you find like rehashed and repackaged for the internet. It's personalized advice. It considers your current situation, where you are, your goals, and your level of comfort. We put together a realistic plan of things that I can do immediately, things over the next few months, the next year, and then long term.
Hello, my name is Tim from Southern California. Just want to give a testimony for DJ the Money Coach. Just had a recent consultation with him over the face-to-face Zoom call and gave me some valuable insight as far as financially wise and how to move forward with my life. And we'll recommend him to anybody and everybody if they want to improve their life financially as well. So definitely, again, nothing but great services and feedback. What I've received thus far from DJ the Money Coach, and I advise anybody and everybody about his services. Thank you.
But Chase is committed. Advancing Black Pathways is committed, and I'm committed to helping the Black community, get those necessary resources. So again, congratulations on your two-year anniversary. Congratulations to all the work that you've been doing in the communities, and we're looking forward to partnering with you to help close this racial wealth gap.
We just had our first session with DJ, the money coach, and it was a very informative session in which I am glad that we are participating in. It gives us an opportunity to be good stewards of our resources, the monies in which we have been working our lives for, in a sense.
So I was quite enthused about how we can retrieve money back that we had paid in on a mortgage.
And the process to get them solved as quickly as possible. So step number one, you got to figure out what's taking your time, right? A lot of people come to me with all these issues, but you don't really know. You're like, oh, I kind of need a system. I feel like I'm overwhelmed, but you don't really know what's really taking up your time. I really suggest this is personally what I do on a regular basis. I look at what I did for the day and what should I not have been doing, right? You can easily write this out in a journal. What are the things that you got done during the day? And then you're going to look at that and you're going to audit yourself. What are these things that you shouldn't be doing? And what are these things that you should be doing? Something that maybe you should be doing is figuring out how you're going to get into Zanzibar with us in August, right?
We want to wish you a P.O.M lifestyle. That's plenty of money and peace of mind. We want you to come join us on the beaches of the World Club.